18 useless college degrees that lead to dead-end careers. Let me guess on some. I always say like communications, English. I'm cheating over here. There's some previews up ahead. English is one of them, so that's a guarantee. This one looks like journalism, so that's kind of useless too. If I were to guess, what else? Gender studies, like a liberal arts, fine arts degree type of thing. What else? I know there's like colleges out there, like those shady colleges you hear about. Some of them have weird degrees, like leadership degrees. Like, oh, okay. I feel like this will also be a list of degrees that are the easiest to achieve, the one with the least path of resistance, something that's more easily attainable, which increases its saturation because so many people have these college degrees, it doesn't pay that much. But let's go through this list. So, of course, English. Like, what can you do with an English degree, really? I mean, you could teach, that's about it. I mean, I guess you could write books, but you don't really need an English degree to be writing books. Yes, you're getting an education in English, but college is not necessarily the place to go to obtain that education, especially putting up debt, borrowing a lot of money, paying a lot for the courses. There's other avenues to obtain the education. I'd be wrong, but I can't think of a lot of careers, a lot of companies hiring people with English degrees. Add art history. Interesting. I can see that. I mean, what good is an art history going to do for you, really? Like maybe exhibits, museums, and even those. I mean, do they pay a lot? I can't imagine what career opportunities there are for that. Let's see the next one. Ethnic studies. Interesting. Again, this is probably something like you'll end up being a teacher for this job. Maybe at the university level, but I can't imagine a lot of people, a lot of employers looking for someone with this degree. All right, let's see the next one. Communications. Yeah, this was one of my guest ones. Like, it looks like journalism too. You don't really need a journalism degree to be a journalist, by the way. You really have to be someone who's really smart, who can speak well, who really likes to get the stories. The best experience for that is, I mean, you can just be a YouTuber and say you have experience because you're willing to go out and get the story, talk to people, interview them. And once you have like a reel of that, you show the experience. Some people might hire you, but then again, journalism does not pay that well. Like if you want to work for your local station, they don't pay that much. If you want to be a journalist, independent's the best way to go because then you can just continue earning more and more the harder you put into it. Next, add performing arts. I can understand that because you don't have to go to college to get an education on like theater or improving your acting skills. You can go to like workshops or local areas that charge way less for the education. Yeah, you don't get this piece of paper that says you have a degree, but I've been in the entertainment business too. A lot of them don't care for the most part that you have a college degree. Can you act? Can you do the job well? That's what they care about the most. So you can save a lot of money not getting college credits for this. There's plenty of great one-on-one instructors out there who can really improve your acting career. General studies. Yeah, this is really, I've seen people with associate's degrees with general studies. This basically means you just got the basics, right? I think this could be the make it or break it for a lot of entry-level jobs that they don't necessarily need a college degree, but they have a preference of someone having like an associate. It just means that you have the discipline to show up and just get something done. So yeah, this might give you a little nudge if you're trying to get like a job that doesn't need a degree. General studies, but overall it is a waste of time. It just means you just did the bare minimum. You did your English 101s, 102s, your biology 101s, your history 101s, and that's about it. Next. Criminal justice. Okay, wow. I thought you needed a criminal justice degree. Like it helps you get a bachelor's in it if you're pursuing like say a law degree or if you're going to law enforcement. I figure a criminal justice degree would be good for that. But that one threw me off. I'm surprised by that one, but interesting. So anthropology. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong about this. I thought I had an idea of what anthropology, because I don't think this picture does it justice. I thought it's the difference between anthropology and archaeology is like anthropology is like studying the living today, right? Like cultures today, uh, areas about humanity that's going on today. But maybe I'm wrong. But again, this is something that I can't imagine a lot of employers looking for anthropology. Um, but if I'm wrong, please comment below, because I am not an expert in anthropology at all. Like, like I barely have an understanding of it. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Please comment below. Philosophy. Yeah, I don't know too many employers who need philosophy degrees. Like, again, this is something that you could just end up being a teacher, a professor at a university. That's about it. But again, it's I've done philosophy. I really enjoyed it, but I knew there was no careers in it. It's really enjoyable. It's fun. I could see people pursuing education in it, but at the same time, like, what are you going to do with that education? There's only so much you can do about it. Oh, yeah, look, archaeology. Okay, this does it more justice because they're digging up bones from the past. So that's what I figured what archaeology was. They examined the past, cultures, the material stuff that they had, the tools they used in the past. Fascinating field, but then again, besides universities and education, who else is hiring these people? It's not a lot of private industries that hire them. I'd be interested in the comments below if you guys know of any, but I really don't see that many people hiring them. Add tourism. You don't really need a degree in tourism. There's so many companies out there that are hiring representatives for tourists to come in. You really don't need a tourism degree. Like, what are you really going to learn that you can't learn from like YouTube or reading other things that you can find on the internet? Like, do you really need to have a professor teach you on tourism? And I think like tourism, like the best way to learn is to actually go and be a tourist yourself. Go visit places, learn. International studies. I mean, this is another one that I just don't know. International studies, like you're learning about other countries. So what? Okay, cool. Like, do you know their languages? That would help. Be a translator. But really, what employer really needs someone that international studies? I can't think of anything. But I'm also weak in this area, so I'm not 100% sure. Let's go on the next one. Sociology. This degree only works if you have like a doctorate in it, really. Then you get somewhere. But if you have like a bachelor's in it, you'll most likely work as a social worker. That's a hard job and they don't pay that well. I know some social workers. I hear a lot of horror stories. Some work at prisons, some work at homeless shelters. It's pretty rough. And they don't get paid that well. I mean, I want to say there are some jobs, but not like a lot. Like I've seen some job openings for, looking for social workers, but they also have a high turnaround. So that's probably why. Add history. It's hard to get a job with a history degree. I mean, again, you'll end up just being a teacher with this one. I notice a lot of these degrees are so, like, yeah, they are pretty simple compared to other degrees to get, but there's not a lot of careers in them. There's just, you could be passionate in these studies, but to pursue and put a lot of money into getting a degree, it's like, are you sure? Do you really need a degree and a piece of paper that says you know this stuff? Okay, next one. Digital marketing, like advertising and stuff. Interesting. I figured that you could use some courses. I guess you don't have to go to college, but you just have to really understand the software on a lot of the stuff that they're asking for, like how to make a website, how to use Photoshop. A lot of tools out there, computer tools of digital marketing. I know like there's classes that can be taught, especially electives on this. But do you really need a degree? Maybe. I could see some advertising companies want to see a degree in it. So I wouldn't say this is useless. There's still plenty of opportunities with digital marketing or advertising or whatever you want to call it. But I could be totally wrong. I figure, I mean, we see ads everywhere. And that to be well done, well polished. So, I don't know about this one. I wouldn't say it's useless. Liberal arts, yeah, okay, I guess this one. It's just broad. You know, you just end up maybe just any typical office job that someone with a high school level could get. You're just above because you have a degree that says, hey, you know, I have more discipline than the person who doesn't have a high school diploma. I mean, when I say discipline, like I have the discipline to go to school. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're any better. Let's put it that way. Add music degree. I've met some really famous musicians before. None of them have college degrees. There could be one or two that might have a music degree, but man, that's so far in between. And do you really want to, you know, spend a lot of money getting college credits on a music degree? Is that really necessary? Like, who's hiring someone with a music degree? Besides like a university or a school, maybe. But not high in paying employers. So that's, I mean, if you really, maybe you could learn like industry level stuff. Like what is like the industry that's, what computers and softwares that they're using, hardware. Maybe you can't figure that out on the internet. I don't know. Like, I really don't see it. Creative writing. I mean, is this any different from like just an English degree, really? No, I can't think of anything like that. No, I mean I could be wrong. Please comment below, but I don't see creative writing. I think that's the end of it. I think the rest of these are ads. Yeah, but yeah. Oh yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see gender studies on here. I'm sure there's other degrees on here that I can't think about. But again, these are like the degrees that are like the easiest to obtain. Notice you didn't see on this list like engineering, nursing, biology, chemistry, physics, even at the bachelor level, right? Those are well-paying jobs, but you know what? They're hard to obtain. These worthless degrees throughout this list, these are degrees that's just, you know, just show up to class, put in some effort, you'll get it. The hard ones, you know, it's really hard to get a good grade in like engineering and nursing or other medical field areas. Those are really hard to attain, but guess what? Not a lot of people have them, and there's a higher demand for them, and they get paid more. And I feel like a lot of these, I guess you call them useless degrees, a lot of people have student loans on them, and they can't get a good paying job, and they're asking the government to forgive them. And they probably knew stepping in like, hey, this degree is not going to get you anywhere. Because I know I've been in some office jobs that did not require a college degree, but a lot of people had these type of degrees though. History, education degrees, English degrees. It's like, dude, I just got out of high school. And like, we're getting paid the same. Hey, why'd you go to college for this degree that's not getting you anywhere? But I digress. Let me read some comments. James C. says, there's no such thing as a useless college degree. Education, regardless of the field, is never useless. And gaining a degree shows to prospective employers that you have the ability to stick a tough task until it is complete. You know what? I agree to that to an extent. Sure. Like I said, there's some jobs out there that don't require a college degree, but they'll list it as optional. And you know, people with an associate's, maybe a bachelor's who apply for that job, typically would get looked at more as a potential candidate. Not always, sure, there's people who don't have a college education because their experience supersedes that, right? And education, I mean, any education really is nice to have. The only thing is with our society is that there is significant value behind what you studied. So yes, if you took English, doesn't mean you're an idiot or anything like that. But you have a skill that's not in high demand. Things that have a high demand will be like your biology, chemistry, medical, things of that nature. And they're also harder to obtain. A lot of these degrees that's mentioned here, it's just for people who just really just don't want to feel like a loser. They want to say, I have a college degree. I have an associate's. I have a bachelor's. Then again, it's like, okay, how far is that taking you? Maybe to debt? Further down in debt? Joe Masching says, a degree is useful if it helps earn a living and gives you a decent payback on the investment. If you're taking subjects or degree for leisure time fulfillment, do it after you have successfully retired. Don't ask for student loan forgiveness. You signed the contract, not the taxpayers. So when you're like 18, just freshly out of high school, you're still young and naive. You don't have experience. And there's a lot of degrees out there that sound cool, fascinating. Hey, that's easy enough for me to complete. This way I could say I have a degree. But it requires a lot of study and research that will this degree give me a good return on my investment. And the investment is not just money and the loans you pull, but your time. 4 years to get a bachelor's. That's a lot of time. Do you really want to waste your time into getting like an English degree? Are you going to find an employer that's going to pay you well with that? Don't get me wrong. There's people who figured it out, who work for someone, they're getting paid very well. But a lot of them are not. A lot of them are your bartenders still. A lot of them still work at the restaurant. A lot of them still work at Target. A lot of those, you see some of those people in like call center jobs. They have a degree, yes. Yes, they have one in history, but they're not doing much with it. In addition to bachelor's degrees, aside from the useless degrees, even if like engineering and all the other ones I mentioned that do have a worth, they're becoming more saturated because now in this economy, they really have good earning potential to be in that six-figure, pay range per year. You have to be at least the master's levels at this point. I know that for experience because I have two of them. And barely cross that, six-figure mark. But if I don't have masters, I probably would still be in like the $50,000, $60,000 a year range, which, as you know, today, it doesn't get you much. And if you're capable of getting a bachelor's, a master's, I personally thought it wasn't that much harder. I think it required much more work, but my stress levels felt the same. Yeah, there's more work to it, but the 2 years for the master's degrees, it goes by like that, and I think it's totally worth it, especially the earning potential. It's definitely there. If you're earning pretty well with your current bachelor's degree, I say go for the master's or doctorates if you can. Okay, here's an outlier. Carl M says, art history may be useless with only a bachelor's degree. I know a gal who finished her PhD in art history and soon found a job as an assistant curator in an art museum, but she applied all over the country for the job. I mean, it's a success story, right? Again, you have to make it up to the PhD level, which is really hard. I'm not even thinking about getting a PhD. I'm kind of burnt out on going to school, getting an education. And I already like my job as it is. So I make pretty good money. I'm not saying I'm rich or anything by any means, but I'm also far away from broke. I'm happy with where I'm at. I am progressing up, but again, like this success story shows that like a bachelor's degree doesn't cut it, especially nowadays. You need a master's or higher. But that's it for comments. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure people are going to write in the comments what you guys think. Are these degrees truly useless? Do you have one of these degrees and you're successful with them? I'd like to know and how you made it successful. Don't be a troll about it. Just tell me how it worked out for you. Because I'm sure there's other people who have that degree and they're stuck and they could use some help. So let's do that. Try to be helpful out there in the comment section. That's about it for this video. So please comment below, hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time, bye.